All right. Good morning, everyone. How is everybody doing this morning? It's a beautiful day outside. Beautiful day. The sun's shining. My kids have been out of school now for like a week and a half, and I'm ready for them to go back. Not really, not really. It is fun when they're out of school. It is fun. But we're going to go ahead and get started here. We want to just say welcome to everyone. If you're here for the very first time, we want to say welcome to the Center of Unity. We are excited that you are here joining us this morning. And if you're joining us online as well, we want to say welcome to you. And if you would put a note or an emoji in there, let us know you're there. That'll be fantastic. We're going to go ahead and get started here. So the psalm says that the heavens declare the glory of the Lord. The skies proclaim the mighty works of his hands. Consider the magnificent intricacy of a living cell, the complexity and the amazing diversity of life on earth. All of the mathematical precision of the laws of physics and chemistry. They are all indicative of the incomprehensible majesty, creativity, and power of our Creator. Why don't we stand together and let's declare the glory of the Lord together. The Lord of all creation, water, earth, and sky. The heavens are your tabernacle. Glory to the Lord on high. God of wonders beyond our galaxy. You are holy. Universe declares your majesty. You are holy, holy, Lord of heaven and earth. Lord of heaven and earth. Early in the morning, celebrate the light. As I stumble in the darkness, I will call your name by night. God of wonders beyond our galaxy, you are holy, holy. The universe declares your majesty. You are holy, holy, Lord of heaven and earth. Lord of heaven and earth. Hallelujah to the Lord of heaven and earth. Hallelujah to the Lord of heaven and earth. Hallelujah to the Lord of heaven and earth. God of wonders beyond our galaxy, you are holy, holy. The universe declares your majesty. You are holy, holy, God of wonders beyond our galaxy. You are holy, holy, precious Lord, reveal your heart to me. You are holy, 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 holy.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good to see all of you and to virtually recognize and feel that energy of all those who are joining us online. I hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. As I was away, I got to go and play in Virginia, in Roanoke, and got to see a couple of times my adopted dad, who is about to be 94 and is probably in his final days, but had a really good visit. He actually spoke a few words, which he rarely does anymore, and just to see his eyes light up that we could have that little bit of time together, it just fills my heart in a way that it can't be done virtually. But next best thing is to be able to connect in this way, even if distance keeps us from connecting in this person to person and hug to hug. It is a beautiful thing to be together as a community. I was reflecting again that community really is calm unity, calm and unity. So we are here to be that community of people who are unified in our desire to know and live and be from this essence of the light within, from what we call that Christ within. So I just celebrate today all the ways that that's unfolding in our individual lives and in our world. And we get to sing again just to keep that energy going.
We do. We're going to sing again. You know, God has an identity for you. Who you are, the reality of who you are, is not always what we think about ourselves. Have you ever looked at someone and thought, man, I wish I was living their life? I know I have. And I'm not gonna go on a social media rant, because I think there's some very good things about social media. But when you watch beautiful people with their beautiful lives on their beautiful vacations, eating their beautiful food, not gaining any weight, you start to compare yourself and you lose joy. You forget your value. So this morning I'm going to give you a Facebook highlight. It's God's Facebook highlight. If God had a Facebook page about you, this is what the pages you would flip through. It would say, you are free from oppression and fear. You are holy and without blame. You have the mind of Christ and the peace of God that passes all understandings. You receive abundant grace and you receive gifts of righteousness. You can do miraculous things. You have authority over the powers of this earth. All of your needs are supplied by God's riches in glory. You are spiritually transformed and you are renewed and you are set apart. You are the head, you are not the tail. You are the light of the world. You are free from sickness and poverty and death. You are healed and whole. You are not ruled by fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And you are chosen by God.
Who am I that the highest King would welcome me? I was lost, but he brought me in. Oh, his love for me. Yes, his love for me. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free. Grace runs deep. While I was a slave to myself, Jesus rescued me. Yes, he rescued me. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, child for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am who you say I am. And the Son sets free. Oh, it's free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am who you say I am. Who the Son sets free. Oh, it's free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am.
They're working on trying to put a little more feeling into their music. Yeah, that was lovely. Good morning. I'm Mary, and this is my friend Ganera, and we are on the care team. And we'll be right next door after service to support you in prayer. Today's daily word is release. Regular releasing keeps me in the flow of life.
I have been changing as long as I've been alive and will continue to evolve as long as I live. I make room for the person I'm becoming through releasing, which is an important part of my spiritual practice. Just as I would not fill my closet with clothes that no longer fit. I am not talking about myself, okay? Okay, I do not fill my life with beliefs and ideas that no longer reflect who I am and who I'm becoming. Regular releasing creates space in my life for new things to come in. It is my way of remaining open to possibilities or welcoming new opportunities of keeping myself in the flow of life. Releasing is also a powerful way to live by faith. I trust I am moving in the right direction and release items from my past easily and with gratitude for the role they played in my life.
And from Psalms 51:10, create in me a clean heart, O God, and put a new and right spirit within me.
We have our healing prayer this morning. We just surround and enfold all of the prayers that we hold in our community, and we also send this energy out into the world wherever prayers are needed. We just see each person becoming clearer and clearer about what theirs is to release and where they are being called to embrace new ways of being. And in that process, they discover their own innate wholeness, their own ability to choose things that bring more life, more light, more love in and through their beings and allow them to express it in new ways out into the world. We are grateful for these answered prayers even before we have spoken them, and allow them to unfold with ease and with grace. And so it is, and so we allow it to be. Amen. So as we start June, it's just hard to believe that June is here already. For this month, we're going to be exploring the creative process, our innate creative process, through the lens of the creation story, or actually there are stories in Genesis. And we're doing this as an opportunity to discover what Eric Butterworth, the author of The Creative Life, calls the 7 keys to your inner creative genius. How many want to know more about how to unleash your inner creative genius? Creation stories have been around, have been told in stories since the dawn of humankind. For as long as humankind could take a moment to say, who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? We've been creating stories to try and answer that question in the absence of perhaps not having those clear, factual, spiritual understandings. The first creation story ever documented is from more than 2,000 years BCE. So that was the first tablets that they've ever found. It comes out of Babylonia, and they were discovered in about 1850. And interestingly enough, there's 7 creation tablets. So this idea of 7 as part of the creative process has been around long before what we now know as the creation story of Judaism and later of Christianity. There was lots of gods in this, and the gods then created more gods, and ultimately demonstrating how long this idea of sacrificial offerings to the gods, man was created from a blood sacrifice of some of the gods. That's how this story went. That's how they understood that they came into being. The creation story that we see in Genesis happened about the 5th century BCE. So many, many decades and a century and a half later, this story began to rise up within the Hebrew community, and many of the scholars would say it was in an attempt to create a creation story with a singular God. This was the emergence of there is only one God that created all of life. Today, many would say that the Big Bang Theory is our creation story, that we have evolved over billions of years, and we would also add with some intelligent guiding force in the midst of all that. Others would now ascribe that there is just science that's evolving. In fact, recent polls over the last several decades show an increasing U.S. population embracing this scientific theory of the Big Bang and the evolution that has unfolded as a result over creationism, which the majority of the people from the 1950s and before, or maybe even 100 years earlier than that for the leading edge thinkers, describe the earth being about 10,000 years old, and that's when everything came into being, at least for our neck of the universe. In Unity, we don't necessarily embrace the Bible as literal and factual. However, we do believe that there is information within these sacred texts that are here to support us in our own spiritual journey. There are insights, there's hidden wisdom about the nature of God and about the nature of who we are and how this particular creation process happens. When we look at it metaphysically, we begin to see and begin to have a greater understanding about how it is that we still are that expression, that creative expression of God in our own life and in our world. Eric Butterworth, who was a longtime Unity luminary in our movement, viewed these 7 days of creation as a treasure map, as something that can show us these different keys to unlocking our own creative genius, our divine abilities as co-creators in life, because we have the conscious ability to direct how we see and view and believe and think about, and we have the conscious ability to change as we understand and see things differently. I love this quote that he has in the book. He says, "Creation is not something that God does or did. It is what God is. It is what we are." I want you to hear that again. Creation is not about something that God did in the past or perhaps is even continuing in the present. It is the very essence and nature of God. This creative energy is God. And because we are a part of it, it is also present and a part of our own human and spiritual evolution. So these 7 keys that we're going to be exploring over the next several weeks are really not about external creation. They are not about how we bring things into the manifest. It is about how we tap into that creative process within our own minds. How we can open ourselves to see and understand things in a different way. How we are able to illuminate our own mind and heart. Most of the time, our default is to look out there, somewhere, for spiritual understanding and illumination and deepening our own awareness. We look to mystical teachers, we look to books, we look to nature, which is sometimes a good inspiration for us, but it's not out there. The place we want to look is within us. Eric Butterworth writes, "Like the absent-minded professor who searched high and low for his glasses," and some of you might be able to relate to this, only to discover that he'd been wearing them the whole time, we need to understand, we need to realize that we are always looking through God-colored glasses. How we tune those, how we put clarity in those is our journey. The illumination we seek The knowledge of God is within us, but like the professor, we tend to look everywhere else except within. So I know when I was reading this, and I think the logical question is, well, how do we access that? How do we change the inner way in which we see and engage in life? And the answer is probably something you've already heard before. It is by turning our attention within, whether that's through prayer, whether that's through a practice of mindfulness in whatever moment we happen to find ourselves in. Any activity that recenters our own mind, our own heart on this presence of God, however we understand this presence of light that is within us. This may take a lot of retraining. I know I've been working on it now for a couple of decades, for sure, of our focused attention. To know God is the very fabric of our being, rather than, again, directing it out there. Oftentimes, even those of us who have been in this spiritual understanding for a long time, we have this tendency, initially anyway, to go out there, to look for the God out there, to beseech the God out there to help with whatever is challenging us in the moment. And that, in many ways, begins to restrict the power of our own prayer process. Realizing that God is not a person to whom we direct our prayers to, rather a spirit, an energy by which we live, is an important process in opening and unlocking this first creative key. And that first key, anybody remember what the first creation process was in Genesis? Let there be light, and there was light. That's the key that we're looking to unlock initially. This is the illumination that helps to transform us from the inside out. The creative geniuses of our time have known this, have discovered this. When you talk to those who have just produced some amazing creative works, whether it's in music or in art or in other forms, even the geniuses that have created a new understanding of our universe, like Einstein, approached it in the same way as Brahms articulated. He says, I always contemplate my oneness with the Creator before commencing to compose. I'm always sitting with that light within and opening myself to let that be what gets brought forth in whatever I am creating in the physical form. I immediately feel vibrations that fill my whole being. There is a felt sense of this light within us, vibrating. It is at such a higher rate that we notice how different we feel when we are aware of, when we are grounded in our oneness with God. Unless that you think that this kind of inner spiritual creative genius is limited to just a few, those who seem to have come into this life with a certain talent, consider this. Mediocrity is self-inflicted. Genius is self-bestowed. It's about how we choose to step into it and view ourselves. If you say, I am not creative at all, well, guess what? Probably not going to have a whole lot of creative juice flowing through you. It is only when we claim it for ourselves that we can begin to unleash the beauty that shows up as part of who we are. We have access to this creative life within, and the only difference is the confidence in our contribution to share it with others, in our ability and belief to share it with others. So the question for us this morning is, are you ready to tap into your creative genius in a deeper way, in an expanded way, wherever you might be in this journey right now? Well, that's what we're going to focus on here for these next few moments as we move into a time of meditation, as we open ourselves to see that light, to call forth the light within. So just wherever you are right now, just get yourself into a comfortable position if you can. You might want to close your eyes just so that you can really bring your attention inward. And begin to just center yourself in the awareness that you are one with God. You are one with all of God's creation. Perhaps you just want to begin as you breathe in and out and focus on that breath. As you draw a breath in to say, God is. And as you let that breath go, to declare, I am. Breathing in the awareness that God is in this moment. And releasing that breath, knowing that you are also a part of that God energy. Almost envision that breath moving in and through your heart, that center of your being, where the illumination of God lives within you. And as you place your attention on it, the more we focus on that inner light, it begins to expand and grow. We feel that light moving through every part of our body, illuminating all of us, from our physical self, from the top of the head to the soles of our feet, illuminating who we are as soul beings. And into this creative light, I just invite you to bring into its center a situation, a person. Perhaps it's just a greater awareness as you visualize yourself in the center of this light. And allow that light to just infuse. Infuse whatever it is that you are holding in your being as wanting to see with greater light, to understand with that light, to love in a deeper way through the light of God. And then just simply be with it. Allow that light to do its creative work. And as you begin to just bring your awareness back to this time and place, aware again of the seat supporting you, of your body, of that light emanating from you. Take another deep breath, and then whenever you're ready, you can bring your attention back and open your eyes. Eric Butterworth calls that a light treatment, given you and all the things that are a part of your journey a light treatment. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that at the end. You know, part of our creation journey is to realize that our eyes may not always be how we truly see life. We depend upon these eyes to give us the information, hoping that we can make some accurate assessments and understanding about it, but they don't really give us the full picture. There was a man, he was a French revolutionary, his name was Jacques Lucien, and he wrote a book giving us new insights into this process of seeing. He wrote Blindness, a New Seeing of the World. He lost his sight at age 8, so he had it for a while. He kind of had an ability to compare the two. And he describes that initial frightening challenge of finding his way between doors and moving around walls and people and trees and all the other obstacles that we typically navigate with our physical sight. And slowly he discovered that while he could not see the light of the outside world, the light was still within him. He found out that as long as he paid attention to that light within, he rarely had problems navigating the world. And he also discovered that there was only one way to see this inner light, to keep it bright within him, and that was, as he described, through divine love. He said that when he was overcome by sorrow, or when anger took hold of him, or he found himself, as Jeff was talking about in social media, envying other people and feeling that sense of jealousy or not enough because others seem to be having an easier time of life, that his light immediately dimmed. It decreased. And he said that sometimes in his darkest hours, that inner light would go out completely, and he really, truly learned what it was like to become totally blind. It led him to discover that we are conduits, we are a part of, we have access to that divine flow of light, of love. And when we are using that to help us to see the world, it gives us a more accurate picture, a clearer way, as long as we aren't restricting the flow. And we get to just choose in every moment, in every situation, how much light we allow to flow through it, or whether we have dimmed it because of the way we are looking at and judging that situation through our eyes and the other parts of our human aspect. It gives new meaning to Jesus' statement when he said, "I am the light of the world," not as an exception, but as his truth in having full access to his own inner light. And then Jesus also tells us in Matthew 5, you are the light of the world. He wasn't speaking to just those people in front of him, but to all people, to remind them that you have this same light within you. Go and let it shine into the world. It starts this whole creative process by just being willing to let more light in, to see the light, to acknowledge it, to embrace it, to be aware of it. And when we are restricting it, to allow ourselves to open that flow back up again. So our invitation this week, should you choose to accept it, is to begin each day, and this is something that he suggests, by taking a few centering breaths. You know, you don't have to have your meditation space. You can do this wherever you're at. You might want to use that God is, I am, or whatever words center you into that awareness of God's light and presence and love within you. And then once you feel that sense of oneness, at least beginning in your own awareness, to bring in your schedule for the day. Whatever appointments you have, whatever contacts, whatever projects, whatever relationships, bring them one by one into this light that's within you, giving them what he calls a light treatment. Just asking for greater illumination and all of those things that you're going to interact with in that day. And he says this, the author, he says that if you begin your day focused on living from the illumination of that inner light, you will see many magical God moments. So bless you as you let the light shine, as you continue to say, let there be light in your own life. And I'd love to hear about what other magical God moments arise as a result. Bless you.
You have a way of taking disappointment, making it an anthem of hope. You have a way of opening the promise, even when the door is still closed. It's what you do, it's who you are. You are like a wildfire in the dark. It's how you move, it's how you work. You can change the whole thing with one word. Light, let there be light. Open my eyes, let there be light. You have a way of coming with a breakthrough, even when I've run out of time. You are the hero running to my rescue, moving at the speed of light. Let there be light. Open my eyes. Let there be light. Let there be light. Open my eyes. Let there be light. Come on. It's what you do, it's who you are. You are like a wildfire in the dark. It's how you move, 'cause it's your heart. You are like a million burning stars. Come on, it's what you do, it's who you are. You are like a wildfire in the dark. It's how you move, 'cause it's your heart. You are like a million burning stars. Light, let there be light. Open my eyes. Let there be light. Light, let there be light. Open my eyes. Let there be
Ah, wow. So I'm going to feel like Debbie Downer a little bit here. Okay, well, we'll just let the light shine in all of this here. So it is your board's intention in regards especially to our finances and other decisions that it's make, to be transparent with all of you. So I wanted to share this morning that we were notified about a month ago that Church Mutual was not going to be renewing our property insurance. We had a huge claim, as all of you know, with our sanctuary, and they made the decision that they were no longer going to carry us. So we immediately went, and Mary found an insurance broker, and we've been working with them over this past month. We've gone out to a lot of companies about carrying us for our property insurance, and unfortunately, because of the claim and because insurers are not that excited to cover people in Texas anymore. I didn't know if you know this, but we have a lot of wind and hail damage in this state. So our only option was to go to a surplus insurance company. They're the guys who will insure people who nobody else will insure. Unfortunately, that comes with a cost. And it is going to increase our insurance amount by $20,000 this year. Yes, it was over $31,000 for an annual policy. And they don't let us do monthly payments, as the other insurance companies would do. So yeah, okay, breathe with me. The board really had to breathe when they got this email from us. Yeah, I understand there's a little bit of reaction that comes with some of those big numbers. But we didn't have any other choice. We cannot not insure. You know, in our desperation, we thought about that. Could we just self-insure? Could we pray really hard and hope that nothing happens? But, you know, this is a $2 million property. We cannot cover that should some disaster show up. So we made the decision, not an easy one, but to go to our line of credit again and take the money out that way, and not, well, we didn't have enough in our reserves to cover it, but we didn't want to totally deplete the reserves anyway, which are about $18,000 right now. So, you ready for a little good news? I know, please. So the good news is, in the past few Sundays when we've been talking about this, because we had a couple air conditioners go out and we had to come up with more than $20,000 to replace those, that we've collected about $3,600 over the last couple of Sundays. So that's going to go directly to reduce the loan amount, and any monies that we continue to receive, we'll be reminding you on the first Sunday of every month that this is another opportunity to give a little extra for reducing our what we owe on our line of credit, because it's our intention to want to pay this down as quickly as possible, because otherwise we are debt-free in this community, and we want to continue to be in that place. So there will be more details coming out in the board e-news this week sometime. So for those of you who want to know more specifics about where we're at and what all those balances look like, that will be coming out. And today I got inspired. I didn't know that this is where it came from, but this same blind mystic, Jacques Lusseron, was the author of this quote, and I want to share this with you today. Do what you can with what you have in the place you are. However you support this community, we just ask you to do what you can, wherever you might be. You know, if each person was able to get an extra $20 out of their budget each month, and I know some that might be possible, others it might not. If 50 people did that, that's an extra $1,000. So it doesn't take huge amounts of money. I don't want anyone to feel like, well, if I don't have hundreds of dollars to throw at this, then I won't give it all. We want each of you just to be willing to do what you can with where you are right now. And if you're going to give specifically earmarked for this reduction of our line of credit, we just ask that you designate, or if you give a larger amount and you want to do a portion of that, so that we know, because that money is going into a special fund that every month, whatever we get in, it will get paid off. The board has also agreed that when our contract with Crown starts, which we expect to be this month, the $2,000 a month we'd be getting at that will also go towards reducing the loan payment, in addition to the about $1,100 that we were paying a month for our old insurance, we will take that out of the money. So our goal is to allocate whatever we can, remain in balance, and we know that as our Montessori school grows, that is already bringing in a stream of income that lets our income and expenses stay in a little bit greater balance. So however you share, however you give with this community, just know that we are very grateful, and we just stand in that awareness that we live in a world of abundance, and there are ways that we may not even be aware of right now, so we keep ourselves open to how that flow of abundance moves in and through our community. So in just a moment, the ushers are going to come and invite you up row by row to share your gifts with this community. If you give through our committed giving program, you can simply just put your hands over the basket and add your energy to it and bless it, or there's some little cards in there that you can put in. And know that we are blessed, and we feel that energy. We feel that energy moving through all of the gifts that we offer and see it multiplying and expanding as we do what we are called to do to add our part of good into this world. So let us take these gifts and bless them together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Father, Mother God.
right, good morning, everyone. My name is Matthew Sweat. I'm your board president. If you're watching us for the first time, we're glad you've chosen to join us. We invite you to visit our website and fill out the Connect card. And if you're watching locally, we invite you to come visit us in person. If you are visiting us in person for the first time, please complete a visitor card found in the pew pocket in front of you or at the visitor desk in the lobby, and drop it in the box at the back of the sanctuary right there by the doors on your way out. Now, before we do our regular appreciation, we just want to mention and recognize all the people that contributed to the homeless kit collection recently. And here's a brief clip of our folks putting together the kits. We had enough to provide products to 72 homeless people, and we are grateful. Excellent. Now, Norma Crawford, she's been a member of Center of Unity for many years, retaining membership even when she lived in Colorado for a while. She has always volunteered, and since returning to Texas, has become involved in a big way. Norma serves on the board of directors, and she is a vital member of the care team, praying with our community and assisting with training, even while dealing with family healing challenges herself. Norma's loving, giving spirit is a gift to us all, and so we say to her, we love you, we bless you, we truly appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Namaste.
Hello. This month's Volunteer Spotlight is Norma Crawford. Good morning, Norma.
Good morning.
So Norma, I know that you have been involved in a lot of activities here. So can you share with us about the volunteer activities you have been involved in here at COU?
Well, I really don't feel like it's been that many, because I've only been here not quite a year since my return, and I'm now serving on the board of directors. Right away, Mary accepted me into the care team, and since prayer is my calling, that's what I was most excited about becoming a part of. And in addition to that, the most fun thing I've done was the Easter egg hunt with the kids at the Salvation Army. That was a lot of fun. There may be something else that I'm just not thinking about right now.
Well, we're glad to have you back because I know that you were here at Unity for a while and then you stepped away and now you're back. So we're really glad to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. It's really good to be
So
back.
a follow-up question, Norma, if I may. What does volunteering mean to you?
Volunteering to me means that it's an opportunity for me to give back. And I feel so tremendously blessed to be at the place where I am in my life, and retired and healthy and have free time. And so it's an opportunity to be involved with loving, gentle people of like mind, and it enriches my life, and it gives me an opportunity to enrich the lives of some others.
Well, thank you so much for your time and for enriching our lives. And you are welcome. So for information about more volunteer opportunities, please check out our website, centerofunity.org.
Here's what's coming up at Center of Unity. Have you ever wondered how to talk to people with opposing views in a peaceful and productive manner? Join Peggy Green Ernst as she discusses Jesus' message of love your neighbor and America's public policies. We will enjoy a love offering lunch in Fellowship Hall beforehand. Book signing to follow. Invite your friends and family and join us as the 15 children from Connect with a Child Orphanage in Kenya share their singing and dancing talents. They will perform during the 10:30 a.m. service, followed by a potluck lunch after service. Please sign up for a dish online at the Info Center or let Mary Salerno know what you'll bring. The choir will then perform a concert at 1 p.m. The concert is offered on a love offering in hopes to bring awareness and funds to build a dormitory in the Western Kenya to house over 300 orphans so they can go to school. This promises to be a great afternoon. Come and experience this powerful Spirit-inspired event as author, intuitive, and spiritual teacher Jennifer Farmer brings the spirit world closer to you. Join us in person for an enlightening and healing evening. Advance reservations are highly recommended. Visit the COU website or app to register.
There are multiple ways you can make a donation to Center of Unity. You can drop your donation off at the church, mail it to our P.O. Box, visit our website, or use the COU or Venmo app. Your continued support is greatly appreciated.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us this Sunday. We appreciate it. And I believe we have our kids back there ready to come in. Bob, let's sing them in. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Good morning, everyone. All right, well, today, both age groups learned about what they create in mind is what they will produce, and they're going to share. And Cash is waving his hand like he's ready to share.
Today we wrote down the goals we want to accomplish this summer.
We did a quarantine activity to show our inner Christ.
Today we did a meditation about all we need. God provides everything for us. Today we shared mayonnaise.
Did he say mayonnaise? Yeah, well, you know. It's a boy after my own heart. Why don't we all stand together and let's sing our peace song.
So as we go into this day, letting the light shine within us, we go, knowing our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. Come join us for some food.